Have you ever wondered why some birds seem to land in a backyard almost instantly, while others remain cautious, no matter how inviting the space seems? The answer may surprise you. Birds perceive much more about you than most people realize, and understanding what they pay attention to can completely change your success in attracting them. My name is Walter Ways, and if there's one thing I've spent countless hours doing, it's silently observing backyard birds making decisions most people never notice. Today, I'm going to help you see your backyard from their perspective and discover the small details that often determine whether a bird stays, approaches, or flies away. Before we continue, a brief note. The information you will hear throughout this video comes from patterns, observations, field notes, and lessons learned over 3 decades studying bird behavior in typical backyards. This video combines education, practical guidance, and stories to help you better understand the fascinating choices birds make. If you enjoy bird watching in your backyard, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Come be a part of our community and discover the most intriguing secrets and curiosities about these flying creatures that enchant us so much. Let's get started. One of the biggest misconceptions in backyard birding is the belief that birds are attracted by food alone. Food matters, of course, but long before a bird decides whether a feeder is worth visiting, it is evaluating something far more important: trust. Every bird that enters your yard is constantly gathering information. It notices movement, it notices patterns, it notices what changes and what stays the same. Most importantly, it notices whether your space feels predictable. If you think about it, attracting birds and earning their trust is not very different from many things in human life. Meaningful results rarely happen overnight. They require patience, effort, consistency, and a willingness to respect timing. Many people set up a feeder and expect immediate success. When days pass without much activity, they assume something is wrong. But from a bird's perspective, caution is not a flaw. It is survival. A bird approaching a new yard has no way of knowing your intentions. It does not know that you purchased a feeder specifically to help wildlife. It does not know that you enjoy watching birds from your window. All it sees is an unfamiliar environment that must be evaluated carefully. Before landing, many species will observe from a distance. They may visit nearby trees repeatedly. They may appear for a few seconds and leave. They may spend days or even weeks collecting information before becoming regular visitors. This is where many successful backyard birders separate themselves from frustrated beginners. Instead of asking, "Why aren't birds coming?" they begin asking, "What information am I giving birds about this space?" That simple shift changes everything. The first language of trust is consistency. Birds are excellent observers of routine. They quickly notice when food appears at predictable times, when water remains available, and when the overall environment remains stable. A feeder that is full one day and empty for the next week sends a very different message than a feeder that is maintained regularly. Consistency tells birds that resources can be relied upon. Over time, that reliability becomes familiar. Familiarity becomes confidence. Confidence becomes trust. This does not mean you need to spend every moment managing your backyard. It simply means creating patterns that birds can learn and recognize. In nature, predictable resources are valuable. When your yard becomes one of those resources, birds begin incorporating it into their daily routines. The second language of trust is calmness. Many bird enthusiasts unintentionally create stress by becoming too excited when birds finally arrive. It is completely understandable. After all, seeing a new visitor can be exciting. But sudden movements, loud activity, or rushing toward a window can instantly change how a bird interprets the environment. Imagine entering a room for the first time and hearing a sudden crash. Your level of comfort would immediately change. Birds react in much the same way. Their survival depends on detecting unexpected disturbances. The calmer and more predictable your presence becomes, the easier it is for birds to classify your yard as a low-risk environment. Over time, birds begin learning that ordinary human activity does not automatically represent danger. This process cannot be rushed. It develops through repeated experiences. Every uneventful visit strengthens the relationship. Every peaceful observation helps reinforce the message that your yard is a place where birds can relax their guard, even if only slightly. The third language of trust is thoughtful design. Many people focus entirely on attracting birds, while forgetting that birds also need ways to feel protected. A feeder standing alone in an open space may look inviting to us, but it can feel exposed to a bird. Most species prefer having nearby vegetation, shrubs, trees, or natural cover that allows quick access to safety if needed. When birds arrive in a new location, they are constantly asking practical questions. Where can I escape if something startles me? Where can I observe before approaching? Where can I rest after feeding? A yard that answers those questions naturally becomes more attractive. In many cases, adding shelter and structure can be just as important as adding food itself. Birds are not simply searching for resources. They are searching for places where those resources can be used safely. This is why the most bird-friendly yards often feel balanced. They provide food, water, shelter, and observation points together rather than treating each element separately. The more complete the environment feels, the easier it becomes for birds to trust it. Another important language of trust is patience. This may be the hardest lesson for many people because it asks us to accept a reality that modern life rarely encourages. We live in a world where results are expected quickly, yet nature often operates on a different schedule. Many backyard birders eventually discover that the most rewarding moments happen after long periods of simply waiting, observing, and allowing wildlife to make its own decisions. There is a quiet satisfaction that comes from knowing a bird chose to visit because it genuinely felt comfortable enough to do so. That choice cannot be forced. It cannot be purchased. It cannot be accelerated. It can only be earned. The truth is that birds owe us nothing. They are not decorations for our gardens. They are wild animals navigating lives filled with uncertainty, competition, changing weather, predators, and countless challenges that most humans never witness. What may seem like a simple hobby to us is connected to serious decisions for them. That perspective changes how we view the entire experience. Instead of measuring success by how many birds appear, we begin measuring success by how welcoming our environment has become. We stop treating birds as guests who should arrive on our schedule and start treating them as wildlife that deserves respect. Ironically, this mindset often leads to greater success. When people focus on understanding birds rather than controlling them, they begin noticing details they previously overlooked. They observe behavior patterns. They recognize preferred perches. They learn which species are naturally cautious and which are naturally curious. The backyard transforms from a viewing area into a place of discovery. And perhaps that is the deepest lesson hidden within the secret language of trust. Birds are teaching us patience every day. They remind us that confidence is built gradually, that consistency matters, that respect creates opportunity, that meaningful relationships, whether between people or between humans and wildlife, are rarely formed through force or impatience. If we truly want our yards to become places birds return to again and again, we must learn to see the world from their perspective. We must understand their concerns, their needs, and the risks they navigate every day. Only then can we create an environment that feels genuinely welcoming. When that happens, something remarkable begins to occur. The birds stop treating your yard as an unfamiliar place. It becomes part of their routine, part of their territory, part of their daily journey. And every visit becomes a quiet reminder that trust